Hey guys, my name is David, and I am the admin of Job Guide 24/7 channel. Today, I am going to give you 14 tips to prepare for a job interview. Let's start now. Tip number 1, interviewer research. To conduct a research on the interviewer, you need to follow two steps. Step 1. Make a phone call to the person who schedules the interview and ask the following questions. Question 1. Who will I be talking to? Will I meet the manager that I will work for, or will I talk to an HR officer only? What are your expectations of the interview? Question 2. How is your dress code? Is it advisable to dress better than being suggested? At most time, it's the safest bet to wear a professional suit with tie. You will be amazed to know how many candidates would show up in such uniforms that you are expected to appear only in a class instead of a professional outfit. Question 3. Ask for directions to the office and make a plan to leave early. Remember to note down a phone number in case you may get stuck somewhere on the way to the interview, on a bus or a crowded road. If you are late and feel so stressful, the interview may not likely go as you expected. Question 4. You should ask for a detailed job description if you don't have any. Step 2. Conduct a research on the person that will interview you. Before going to the interview room, contact any person and get a list of individuals that will attend your meeting. After that, you may conduct a research on these individuals by any of the following methods. Method 1. Perform a Google search. Method 2. Look for and check their individual LinkedIn or other social media pages. As LinkedIn has a limitation on connection and user's profile, you can take advantage of any of the following options. Option 1. Perform a Google search for the position, job title, and user's name at linkedin.com. For example, you may use such keywords as HR manager, Los Angeles to perform a search at linkedin.com/in. Option 2. Use LinkedIn's Try Premium for free feature for 1 month. To prevent from loss of money after this trial period, you may also use an empty Visa Master automatic payment cancellation feature of PayPal. Method 3. You should review information on these individuals on the company's website. This is intended to learn about the interviewer's backgrounds and interests so that you will have the advantage to build up their support in the interview. Show them that you have a similar interest like them and in their role in the company. If you want to connect or become a friend with the interviewer, you should note that building relationships is a top priority, and the interviewers often do not like too detailed questions into personal matters in the interview process. However, they will be willing to answer any question on corporate culture. Tip number 2. Learn as much as you can about corporate culture. Employers always highly appreciate candidates that know a lot about the company and its products and services. You may not be able to increase your professional skills right away, but you can easily gain advantages over other candidates by conducting a research on the employers. Visit their websites or perform a Google search for such information as annual sales, total number of employees, scope of the business in other countries, lines of business and key products or services, the benefits of these products or services, their ranks in the market, and main competitors, recent information on new products, CEO's interview, etc., mission, culture, and values, names of the CEO, senior leaders, and founding members, future objectives and plan, key difficulties and highlighted achievements. This is another great interview tip that I want to share with you. Today, modern management thinking requires each employee to be a good salesman, even if he or she is not in the sales department. You are required to understand the company's products and services, such as the advantages and disadvantages of the product, advantages over the competitors, how to use the product, and even how to convince customers to buy the products. With this knowledge, you will have a great opportunity to be employed even if you have little or no working experience. To conduct a research on the product, you may use the following methods. Call the sales department or contact online to find out about the product. Search for reviews by online customers. Purchase and try the products yourself. Call the sales department or contact your competitor's online sales staff to find out about competing products and ask for their opinions on the company's products. Tip number 3. Learn about job interview experience. Interview experience of former candidates, current employees, or former employees is a great source of information. You can search for such information by the following methods. Method 1. Perform a Google search. For example, if you are preparing for an interview with a sales engineer at Apple in the UK, you can perform a Google search by using the following keywords: Apple UK Sales Engineer Interview Experience, or Apple Sales Engineer Interview Experience, or Sales Engineer Interview Experience, or Apple UK Interview Experience, etc. Method 2. Perform a search at Glassdoor.com. At Glassdoor.com, you can search for information such as candidates' former employees, current employees' wage rates, working environment, and employers' interview questions, etc. Method 3. Post your questions in specialized forums and groups. For example, if you are applying for a job as a sales engineer at Apple, you can look for forums and groups in the following way. Search Google.com using keywords as sales forum. Search Facebook.com using such keywords as sales group. Then you register your account in the forums or join that Facebook group. Then you may ask questions about interview experience for a sales engineer position at Apple in that forum or group. Method 4. Build up relationships with direct managers. For example, if you apply for a sales engineer position, the direct manager will typically be a sales manager. You may search for sales managers on LinkedIn.com, Facebook.com, or Twitter.com, etc. It is important to note that sales managers are often not willing to answer and do not like such questions about interviewing experience or how you can apply for a job. However, many direct managers would love to share their experience, knowledge, because it is their pride. You should note that first, you need to build up good relationships. With good relationships, direct managers will be willing to answer any of your questions. Here is a good example of a question to get acquainted with them. Hi, Mr. Peter. I know that you are a good sales manager, so I would appreciate it very much if you may share some of your sales knowledge, if that doesn't bother you. Method 5. Build up relationships with anyone who has been working for the employer. Like Method 4, you may search for those that have been working for the employer via Facebook.com, LinkedIn.com. Do not ask them about their interview experience because in most cases they will not be willing to answer. Just ask questions about their pride about the company. For example, I heard that Apple has a great working environment. Would you mind sharing some information about the working environment there? Keep in mind that relationship building is the priority and your wish is just the second priority. Tip number 4. Analyze the job. If you become a manager or an expert, then job analysis skills are among the most important skills that are necessary for your career. A basic job analysis consists of 2 parts: a list of tasks, responsibilities, and a job standard. Not all employers are capable of building a professional job description, so you need to refer to different job descriptions before doing so. Part 1. List of tasks, responsibilities. This list should be made in Excel format, including following columns: number, list of tasks, weight, importance level of each task on a scale of 1 to 10, score, assessment of your ability to perform the tasks on a scale of 1 to 10, subtotal. In this column, multiply weight and score to come to the assessment result for each task. Then, in the subtotal column, calculate the total score. Here, you will be able to assess your ability to meet the job requirements in general and your proficiency for each task in particular. For tasks with low scores, you need a plan to improve your knowledge and skills related to that task. For each task, you need to ask the following questions. What is the procedure for performing each task? What are the requirements on the output of each task? What are the basic errors of each task that may occur frequently? What are the solutions to such errors? How to improve the performance of each task? Which tools and methods are there to help accomplish each task? What are the performance metrics for each task? Answering these questions will help you systematize the knowledge and your interview outcome will be better. Part 2. List of job standards. In this part, you will follow a similar method like in Part 1. For those standards that you meet, you need to list down your strengths. For unmet standards, you need to plan to improve your knowledge and skills related to that task. Tip number 5. Review the resume and cover letter. You should always remember that it will be difficult for us to spot errors in the documents that we make ourselves. Therefore, try to reread your resume and cover letter for several times to minimize errors. To review your resume and cover letter, you may use the following methods. Method 1. Ask a friend of yours to review your resume and cover letter. Method 2. Engage resume review services, and you can refer to the list of best services in the video description. Tip number 6. Review the posts on your Facebook and other social media sites. Employers often skim over candidates' accounts on the Facebook and other social media sites to get information and background on potential employees. Typically, they will use your phone number, email, ID card, full name to search for your information on social sites. They can also find your information on background check website. Have you heard about personal brand building? Online tools are an essential part of building your personal brand. By reviewing online tools, the employers will somewhat assess your level and personality. In this video, I would like to share some simple ways so that you can quickly improve your online personal brand. Method 1. Check all of your images and online articles and delete any misleading negative information. Method 2. Updated useful articles on lifestyle or work. You should change the date of your posts to ensure the objectiveness. Method 3. Create a personal blog, update information about your favorite pictures, emails, phone, and page info. Blogspot.com is currently the best blog service offered by Google. When you create a blog, you need to update useful articles related to your career. If you can create your own articles, it's a great way to promote your personal brand. You should change the date of your posts to ensure the objectiveness. For example, I created a blog for you, davidhr247.blogspot.com. In this blog, you are identified as David and your job is in HR management. Wow, that is a great blog for you to develop your personal brand with HR management. Tip number 7. Think about some mini career stories. You should note that in order to win the interview, you need to prove that you are the most suitable candidate. You cannot win by describing what's in your resume and cover letter. Selecting mini career stories that may help you improve your job-related knowledge and skills is one of the best ways to prove yourself. It is best to select mini career stories on your achievements at work. What if you have little to no achievements at all? Do not worry, because even your failures or effort are also good mini career stories. To determine your mini career stories first, you need to identify the strengths that you have about the current recruited job title. Then determine 1 to 3 mini career stories for that strength. For the method to determine your strengths related to mini career stories, please refer to Top 12 Tips to Answer the Question, Tell Me About Yourself video. Tip number 8. Arrive early at the interview site. In tip number 1, you are recommended to call the employer to ask for relevant information and directions to the interview site. Remember to use GPS and Google Maps to locate your route. Many employment experts would recommend that you should arrive 10 to 15 minutes early. I personally think you should arrive 30 to 45 minutes earlier for the following reasons. Firstly, this is the amount of time you can afford to avoid any traffic jam or traffic accident that may occur. Secondly, when you come to the interview site early, you have the opportunity to observe their culture, such as uniform, decorations, arrangement, and work procedures, etc. Thirdly, you will have time to re-examine your teeth, breath, appearance, shoes, etc. Also, when you come to the interview site, you should never use your phone or other mobile devices to pass the time when waiting. You should not review issues related to interviews. The best thing you can do is to continue to research the company. You need to be very careful about the behavior at the employer's office, as they will observe your behavior as well. You need to keep in mind about the actions that you can do at the employer's office. For example, if you see the banana peel on the way, put it in the trash. If a pen falls on the floor, place it in a correct position. If a newspaper is not in the right place it on the shelves, etc. Tip number 9. Practice your interview. To accomplish any task or project, you need experience. And to also win a job interview, you need experience too. So you can practice by using the following methods. Method 1. Self-interview. You ask the questions yourself and answer them. You should shoot a video to see how good your response is. Method 2. Ask friends or family members to interview you directly or indirectly over the phone. Method 3. You find a job with lower requirements and apply, and then you will have more opportunities to be invited to an interview. This is the best way to improve your job interview skills. Tip 10. Prepare your outfit ready for the interview. Make sure your interview clothes are ready, but don't wait until the last minute. These interview clothes should be available for you to wear at all times so that you don't have to think about what you're going to wear when the interview is imminent soon. Whichever the job you're being interviewed for, first impression is always a great advantage. When you dress for a professional job interview, you should dress in accordance with business attire. If the job is in a more casual environment, a store or restaurant for example, it's still important to maintain your appearance in a neat, tidy, and well-groomed manner so that the employer will have a positive impression of you. Another important matter is that you should take careful consideration of your makeup and accessories when dressing for an interview. You may refer to these tips to know how to make up for an interview. There are a lot of tips on what to wear in an interview, and you should also consider these interview outfits that are suitable for men and women in an interview as well. Tip number 11. Remember items to be taken to a job interview. You are advised to make sure what to take and not to take to a job interview. Those items that should be taken may include extra copies of CV or resume, referral list, notebook, question note, etc. Knowing not to take certain items to the interview is important too. You should not take your cell phone with you or turn it off, coffee, chewing gum, or any other item that is not relevant to your identification. Items to be taken to a job interview. A connected device with Google Maps app so that you can always search for directions to the interview site. A bottle of water, just in case it is not available at the interview site. Details of the interviewers or contact persons, if any. Pen, paper, and a notebook. 5 or 6 additional copies of your documents for the interview, such as CV or resume, etc. CV, cover letter, professional certificates, and academic diplomas, if any. If you are a newly graduate, these are a must. Referral list, including such details as job title, company, contact person, phone number, email, address, etc. Copies of reference letters. Samples of your works, such as writings, design layouts, plans, etc. It is crucial to make sure that no confidential information of your existing employer is disclosed therein. Photo ID, driving license or passport is acceptable. A copy of job description. Letter of invitation to the interview. Some cash. Tip number 12. Ask if you have any question. Interviewing is a two-way conversation. Therefore, raising your questions to the employer is a great way to show that you are very interested in the job. Usually, a job interview is divided into 3 rounds: HR round, line manager round, and boss executive round. For each round, there will be different questions that you should consider. You can refer to the list of questions to be asked in my list of top 10 interview questions and answers, part 10. Do you have any questions? Tip number 13. Prepare a thank you letter. Most of the career counselors would recommend that you send a thank you letter to the interviewer after the interview in no more than 24 hours. You may refer to the following example. Dear, insert the interviewer's name. Thank you very much for this opportunity that you have offered me. I am very impressed by insert the interviewer's company and would appreciate it very much if you may contact me to ask any further questions. I am looking forward to hearing from you regarding this position. However, this is a tip that many candidates are considering, and the employers may feel bored with such letters. You need to make a difference and pay attention to the employer. Prepare 1 to 3 comments or solutions so that you can perform the job well. You should be noted not to argue with the employer nor defend yourself. This only worsens your image in the employer's eyes. So it is the best to state 1 to 3 contributions plus a thank you letter. Tip number 14. Follow up. Do you know that many employers may accidentally forget the candidates? Do you know that many of selected candidates fail to try the job successfully? If you are persistent, you will always have a chance. This will demonstrate to the employer that you are really interested in this job and want to work for the employer. You may send a reminder to the interviewer in 1 to 2 weeks after the interview. For example, Dear, insert the interviewer's name. My name is, insert your name, and I was interviewed at your company on insert date. I am still interested in the position if it hasn't been filled yet. I would be very grateful for any information that you might have about my qualification. I am looking forward to hearing from you soon.